So to make this example clear, I want to talk a little bit about Kung Fu Panda, the movie, of course. And I'm going to assume that you have watched the movie. It's an old movie, so not really sorry for giving away spoilers. If you watch the movie, you realize that when Po, the panda, who is chosen to be a dragon warrior, which he thinks happens by accident, he thinks he's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. He is chosen as this great dragon warrior who's supposed to lead them, which according to Poe is crazy because he has no traits of a dragon warrior. He has invested no time in training in Kung Fu. He has basically lived a very normal life. And so he essentially feels out of place when he's chosen to be a dragon warrior. And then there is the villain. And the reason I'm using quotation marks right now is because that villain is not the actual villain, but there is a villain of this snow leopard named Tai Lung, who is going to come and who is apparently going to destroy the whole world because he's extremely powerful. And so Po, the Kung Fu Panda, or the panda in Kung Fu Panda, is now supposed to fight Tai Lung, who is extremely powerful, who has a lot of training, who has learned from Po's teacher. So how can Po defeat such a powerful villain, especially knowing that he has no background in Kung Fu whatsoever? When you zoom out, you will realize that the actual villain is different. When you zoom in, of course, it feels like okay, the real villain is essentially Tai Lung, the slow leopard. But when you zoom out, you realize that no, that's actually not true. The real villain is within Po. His self-doubt, or the feeling that I am not enough, or the feeling that I need to do something special to become extraordinary. All of those things are what Poe's problems are. And that is essentially the root of all his problems, the root belief, the villain. It's that. Because he's using a certain strategy to defeat Tai Lung, which is to train Kung Fu and to try different exercises. He's learning from his master, and yet none of it is actually working because of his belief that he needs to be someone else. So instead of accepting who he is, he's trying to be someone else. That is the root belief. And then what happens? At some point of time, he sees the dragon scroll and he realizes that the dragon scroll is essentially empty, so there is no secret. And all of that to say that, oh, you are enough, you are sufficient, you don't need to have anything else. That is the root belief change that happens. That is the big idea. The big idea here, or the point of view here, is that you are enough, you don't need to be someone else. But before that, we need to find the root belief in this case, which is that Poe essentially feels that he needs to be someone else. So we are trying to find the root belief, because all the symptoms that we spoke about previously, about whatever happens because of the status quo, are coming from one root belief. And if you take that root belief, if you attack that root belief, which also is the villain, then you're able to make case for the new game or the new idea that you're going to propose.